into Sunday night than to hang a brand new axe head. So we've got a plumb square pattern. So the square pattern plumb is older. So it's going to be a pre 1950s, pre World War II axe. This is a Plumb USA 4 pound, is what it says. It won't focus on it, but that's what you get. There we go. Plumb USA 4 pounds. So we're going to finish this hang off. We've got it. We've got it centered. We've got it where we want it. We've actually even got our walnut wedge fitted. So, all right, we're going to finish this off on live, something I like to do. So, the walnut wedge is fitted, and I've mixed up a little bit of a concoction in this. You know, Urban Lumberjack has his, Killinger has his, and you know, a lot of guys have their own special concoction that they use. I'm not sure what Nate uses, or Big Life, Ryan at Big Life. But what I've done is I've put together a recipe in this. So I've put together aged linseed oil. So this is aged raw linseed oil, right? Which I think when this actually came out, this was number one, made in the USA, but number two, this has got to be a 1970s, 1980s can. This was here when we moved in, so pretty awesome find there. Aged, super aged linseed oil, vodka, Danish oil. So inside my mixture, I have vodka, aged linseed oil, and then to finish it off, to add a little bit, I've got the boiled linseed oil, but it's the Swedish boiled linseed oil, so it doesn't have any drying agents. The drying agents, they do cause headache and nausea, and essentially they poison you. So I try to steer away from the drying agents as much as possible. I'd love to find the bottle and show you guys, but it's not in the cards today. So, but the good news is I have everything I need right here. It's Swedish boiled linseed oil with no drying agents, raw linseed oil, and then I also have a recipe of vodka in there as well. Hit that like button if you're in here. We're about to hang an axe by hand. We've shaped the axe handle, and we've purchased this axe head. It's a vintage axe head we're bringing back to life, right? This axe head didn't stand a chance. It was going to get scrap metaled. This was made before World War II. So this is a piece of history. This is like an antique furniture. You know, anybody that collects antiques, this is a piece of history. Just like this Dunlap spokeshave is a piece of history. You know, just like this Eagle oil can is a piece of history. So we want to preserve history. And if you're a fan of mine, or if you're a viewer of mine, you know that everything I use is either American made, Swedish made, or it's old and has a historic value of somewhat. So I really enjoy bringing back old tools back to life, and axes are my thing. So I enjoy doing axes because I've been swinging an axe since I was a kid. When I was 10 years old and I moved in with my father, we had a wood stove, and that was how we heated the house. And he would say, Nick, go split wood before you go catch the bus. I was 10. I didn't get any free rides. I would go out and I would split the wood with a maul, and I would stack it up inside the house. And when I got home, I'd, make sure it was filled full before I left. And when I got home, I'd fill it back up, keep the fire going all day, all night. It'd keep the house warm. It'd keep the house so warm that we would actually open the windows a little bit. So, bro, literally, pulled out of the shut. Okay. Post Malone? What? So are you on creative mode right now? Michael, I don't know. Is that something that's going on the screen? I can't tell. So y'all let me know. But regardless, this is what we're going to do. We're going to mount this. We've got one side, as you can see, has a round to it. One side has a flat to it. One thing you don't want to do, one mistake you don't want to make when hanging an axe is you don't want to make your wedge too small. If you make your wedge too small, then you've got gaps in the front and back. So I'd rather my wedge be bigger and even be, scrubbing on the front and the back of the axe than have a gap in the front and the back. I've made that mistake too many times. So today I am Cuban Italian, so, could be a possibility. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this walnut with my mixture, and we're going to see what it does. All right, so we're going to see if it changes the color, what does it do? So number one, it's going to give us lubricant. So it's actually going to lubricate as we go in and penetrate the axe. So the number two thing it's going to do is it's going to make sure and protect this wedge from rot, because these wedges over time will start to rot and degrade. So we don't want that. We are going to glue the wedge, because that's how we do it here, and see how that goes. All right. So now that we've got our wedge fitted, we've got our head fitted, we're going to go ahead and start the wedge in just a little bit, right? Just a hair. We want to make sure it's lined up right. If it's not lined up right and it starts going in sideways, you're in trouble. So you want to make sure that when you start this off, that you're at the right angle. Now, there's several ways that you can kind of keep it straight. Using a block of wood is one of them, but I'm not really worried about keeping it straight. If it gets off center, it is what it is. You can kind of get it back to where it needs to be. What I want is to start it off so I can put a little bit of wood glue on it, right? And you're like, well, wood glue, you've already got oil on it. It's not going to matter. This wood glue is going to bind to both of those structures. So, all right, let's crank it down. Y'all ready? Now, once we've got that far, as the young folks say, we can go ham on it, and we're going to just pound this thing home, right? So I don't know. I don't know if it mushroomed out or not. You guys tell me. Does that look mushroomed? Give me a go ham. That's right, Taylor. Listen, that's right. Woo woo. I've been waiting to see you on here for a while. I'm glad you're here. Now, what do you think? Am I mushroomed out on top? Somebody who doesn't know anything about axes? I'm assuming. Now, don't go. Okay, so we got the mushroom. Now, what's that going to do? Once we cut this off, that mushroom is going to prevent this head from coming off. We're tight here, and if we're tight here and we're mushroomed out, there's no way that this head is going to come up and off. So that's to protect us and make a solid hang, right? That's the trick. All right. Well, I'm glad that's true. I didn't want to offend you. You may have been like some sort of super axe connoisseur, and I didn't know, I don't like to assume. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit of sawing, and I'm telling you guys, hang tight, because when this is done, it's going to look completely different, right? The way it looks now, it looks rough. It looks, ugly. But give me a minute, and you're going to like it. Now, this is a Japanese pull saw, and these are designed to pull straight to your stomach. So they're not like the American crosscut saws where there's a technique involved. There's a lot less technique in a Japanese pull saw. So you're just going to keep it straight and pull directly to your chest or your stomach. Now this can be a little big. It doesn't matter. We're going to shave it down a little bit afterwards. You want to go nice and slow, not to fling the wood off, right? All right, here we go. Now, I want you guys to tell me, does this look better? Now, all that wood glue aside, that looks nice, right? All right. Well, it's not done. We got to take a little bit of time to clean around the edges and to cut this wedge. Remember, I said you don't want your wedge too small or it won't fill that gap. You want to have a big enough wedge to fill the gap. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm essentially contouring it to where it follows the shape of the axi. All right, now that that's done, we're going to take 100 grit sandpaper, sand it up, and we're going to hit these edges. I'd like to do a 100-day live stream streak, but I don't think I'm as dedicated as Taylor is, which congratulations, by the way. That's a huge accomplishment, and I'm very, very proud of you. That's a first step, maybe, your second or third step, but it's your first step in instilling discipline in yourself that is going to flourish into, who knows what. Go from there, your choice. You've completed something you didn't think that you would be able to do, or that you knew was going to be a challenge, and you did it. And so that's really awesome, and you should be proud of yourself. All right. Now we're going to take and brush it up. Take the brush, clean it up real nice. I'm going to bring you all in for the close-up. You want to get oil on the sides, and you want to let it soak in here. Wood soaks in through two ways. Soaks in like a straw. So the top and the bottom is where the wood soaks in. It doesn't really soak in a lot from the side, it's kind of sheltered from the elements. So each end of your axe handle or board is where it's going to soak in the oil or moisture or anything that is going to get to it. So you want to try to protect that. And for example, if you'll bear with me for a moment, I've got one that's completely soaked. This is a Tasmanian pattern made in Australia. You can tell how thick that bit is. It was actually designed for Australian hardwoods. So this is a high test forged for tools. These aren't in production anymore. They were bought out by, I believe, Cyclone is the company that bought out High Test. And so Cyclone bought out High Test and started making their own axes. And that's why you see the High Test Cyclone. After that happened, the High Test name fell off and you got to keep Cyclone. But then you lost a really good brand. High Test was a phenomenal axe maker, and they did a very, very good job making axes. And now their axes are highly sought after and collected. So we're going to leave that set for a minute. Take this up. It's a 30-inch handle with a 4-pound head. So perfect size. Got a little bit of excess on there. That's how I like it. So beautiful walnut wedge. All right. Now we're going to hit the handle. You want to get all this area from here you want to make sure that this area gets covered. We'll also shape that palm swell later on, but right now we're just concerned about getting some oil on the axe. Thank you, Destiny. I appreciate that. When hafting an axe, when you hammer in the wedge, at first I used to get scared because the wedge would crack and break, and it would worry me because it looked terrible. At first, you're hammering that wedge in, and it looks like it's never going to look good. Once you cut that excess off and you leave it proud, that goes away, and you end up with a very clean, very nice look, and mushroomed out so it holds the axe head down. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a mushroomed top with this down here being tight. It's a friction fit. So unlike a lot of people that hang axes, I keep my head tight. So some people that hang axes will make it where their axe head goes thump and sinks right to the bottom, and they call that a friction fit. That's not a friction fit. A friction fit is where it's tight from the moment you put it on, not so tight that you can't get it on, but tight from the moment you get it on to where you have to use your force to get it sunk. Then once it's sunk, you hammer it at the bottom using inertia to move the head forwards up onto the axe. So, man, that combination really looks good. So we do have straight grain. We got straight grain running through it. So I do have a favorite axe, and it's going to be probably the Kelly Dandy, and there's three of them. There's the Canadian, there's the one that's made in England, and then there's the one that's made in Australia. The Australian version would be my favorite, but as far as a type of axe, Michigan, Dayton, Rockaway, I do like Dayton's. And Rockaways are starting to grow on me, but Plumb is my favorite maker. So by far, Plumb has the best steel out of any axe company, vintage or now current, that you can get. This Plumb edge that I put on here, this took forever, and it beats up your files because the steel is so hard. So this Plumb and this Plumb are almost identical, right? So Plumb square label, and then you've got Plumb square label with USA plus 4 pound on this. It's a little bit more worn on this axe, but this is a full 4 pounder. This is probably 3 maybe, because it came on a 28-inch handle. This is actually the original handle that this came on. This handle didn't come with a handle, so I had to put one on it. But yeah, Plumb is going to be my favorite maker. And as far as axes go, I do like Tasmanian patterns because I do split more than I chop, but I do like Dayton's as well. So this is just a big Dayton. I'm not going to call it a Connie. You could probably classify this as a Connie, but your pole doesn't taper in the back. And that's what you're looking for with a Connecticut pattern, is that pole to taper. So that's one thing you gotta watch. So, but I do really like the Plumbs. I like the Daytons, but let's check out this Rockaway that I just finished making. So here's one that I made the handle from scratch. I was sent the head from Iron Ox Axe and Tool. Nate is his name. Great guy. Sent me the head. I still owe him a package. I'm sending it. It's in the car. It's packaged up. I just got to get my wife over to the post office to get it sent over to him. But this is a all white oak handle that I bought from a lumber store as a 1x. So literally it was a 1x4. So a 4-inch by 1-inch thick board that you can't make an axe out of that and have a palm swell. So you have to buy palm swell material and laminate the palm swell, which is fine. You can do that because this overall setup costs $16. So for $16, I was able to get out of there with the handle wood and the palm swell wood. Oh man, yeah, Plumbs are amazing. They really are. Your East Coast axes. So how far east are you? We're located in the northeast mountains of Tennessee. So we're right there on the border of Virginia and North Carolina. So we kind of got hit by that flood, the hurricane that caused the flood. We were just right outside that range by the grace of God. So very happy about that. But just an amazing Rockaway pattern. That thing is beautiful. I don't know how you couldn't like a Rockaway. But getting a Plumb Rockaway, I mean, good luck. I know one guy that has them, but he's holding on to them. He's not. I don't think he's letting go of any anytime soon. So, yeah, Plumb Rockaways are really hard to come by, and they're expensive when you do come by them. So, all right. So let's talk about axes for a minute, right? So when you swing your axe, okay, there's a correct form to start from, and there's a correct form to finish at. Yeah, that is as far east as you can get, man. You're not kidding. But I bet that you can find some good Rockaway patterns up there. Probably some good Connecticut patterns up there. there's a lot of good vintage axes up there. So I go to a lot of flea markets. I do a lot of flea markets. I'd like to do more estate sales. I'd like to do more yard sales than I do, but that's really where you're going to find a lot of these treasures. Now, I've got most of the axes that I have, I've gotten from flea markets. I've got a few that I've got off eBay, and I've got a few that I've got sent by from friends. So, but most of it is eBay or is flea market finds. So you've got a start position, you've got a finish position. So the finish position is always hands down. So if you start here, right here at the bottom, come up, grab the top of your axe, come down. You want to finish with your handle. Let's say this is your axe. You want to finish with your handle down too. If you swing like this, right, like then you have a chance of not being able to correct. Correcting with any type of weight of axe is nearly impossible. So you want to come, take it, and come down with it. You want to bend your knees, come down with it, right? And that's to protect your legs, your feet, your shins. Everything down there has a artery that runs through it that's very dangerous if struck. Well, man, Walters are great. I love Walters. I've not seen a Walter ever in the wild. Walters are extremely hard to come by here. HBs as well. I've seen one made in Sweden axe at a flea market. It was $20. It was a hatchet, super nice. It was when I was first starting to restore axes, and I thought, I'll see another one. I've never seen another one. So if you see it and you have an opportunity to get it, because I'm telling you, I've made that mistake way too many times. I've kicked myself to death over stuff. Yeah, I mean, there is some good stuff out west, but you got to think, out west, a lot of it got scrapped for World War II. A lot of people did scrap metal drives, and they would take everything they could get and scrap it. And so, yeah, Walters are common in Canada, but they have a thicker pattern, and you know they're more of a splitting pattern axe a lot of times than you'll find in Tennessee or the United States. I could go through all of the axes I have, and there's probably one that's an American-made axe that's got somewhat of a wedge pattern other than the Snow and Neely wedge patterns, and that's the Craftsman axe. So there is that. Now, I do want to talk about something, you know, and I've stayed away from politics on this channel for a long, long time. And, you know, for a pretty decent amount of time, and I've kind of just held my tongue on a lot of it. But politically speaking, right, a lot of things are going on in the world right now, and a lot of people are unsure of their future. There's a lot of people being laid off. There's a lot of people that are losing their jobs federally. There's a lot of people who don't know what to do. They feel alone. They feel lost. They feel like they don't have anybody to turn to. But, you know, I do have a dog in this race because I've been there and I've felt that same way many times. And so I'll be the first one to tell you that in that moment of darkness and in that moment of sadness and loneliness and cold, you know, you feel alone, cry out to the Lord, because there is one person who loves you more than anybody could ever love you, and that's your Father, Jesus Christ. And truly, I say to you that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that you shall not perish but have everlasting life in heaven with him. Is it easy? No. Is it hard? Yes. Is it going to be harder than living a sinful life? Yes. But I promise you, at the end, it's worth it. Because you take this road, it's easy. You take this road, it's hard. Will you be persecuted for it? Yes. Will you be called names for his name's sake? Yes. But at the end of the day, your soul that lives inside you will be saved. You have a soul inside you, and it goes somewhere when you die, right? And however much you feed your soul is what matters. We feed our flesh doing axes, we feed our flesh eating, we feed our flesh watching TV, social media. But how do we feed our spirit? How do we feed our spirit, right? Pray, read the Bible, fellowship. Those are ways to feed your spirit. And in feeding your spirit will start to grow and get emboldened. The Holy Spirit will grow inside you and will start to push you away from sin. You don't have to stop sinning to turn to God. You turn to God, then God inside of you, your conscience kicks in and you want to stop sinning. So you start to push that away on your own. But I just had to get that off my chest. Guys, I love every single one of you. My 3.7% female viewership, I love you girls too. So if there's anything that you guys need, reach out to me. I'm on Instagram, Nicholas Barillas. I'm on here, Mountain Men Axes. Subscribe, like for the content. I'm not asking for anything. I don't want anything. God's provided everything I've needed in my life. And if I've gone through hardship, it's only to make me the man that I am today. I've gone through extreme hardship, but it's to make me the man I am today. So that's right. But I love you guys. I'll let you go. Thanks for tuning into this live where we hung this pre-1950s Plumb. I'm calling it a Dayton. Y'all could call it a Connecticut. Dayton, 4 pounds. It was over 4 pounds when I measured it. It was about 4 3/8. So very happy with the way this turned out. Very pleased. We'll go outside and use it a little bit later. We'll do a chopping video. If you guys like chopping videos, let me know. Comment on here. Whenever the live's done, if you watch this, comment and tell me you want to see chopping videos. I'll chop. I don't mind going out there and bucking some wood. But I need to know if you guys like that. I'm not going to go out there and buck a bunch of wood and record it and you guys don't really care to see it, you know? Let me know what you like to see. I'm more than happy to film videos on it. And before we go, we're actually going to leave this axe set up and we're going to hit it once again because, like I said, we want to seal this, but we want to seal it with oil. We don't want to seal it with varnish. We don't want to seal it with anything that's going to prevent the nutrients getting to it. So right now we're going to seal it with raw linseed oil, Swedish boiled linseed oil, and Danish walnut oil called vodka. So if you guys are in here, like it for me, please. Hit the thumbs up button. This one turned out real nice, so I'm happy with it. Now, we're going to let it sit. We've got oil setting on top of the eye. We want that to sit, soak in. I've got it to where it's soaked in so much that it's gone below the head and turned the bottom of the head right there, the wood, orange. You want it to soak in so much that it turns that wood a different color, that it's absorbed and saturated. There's a few different types of saturation level, right? There's surface, there's saturation, and then there's fully saturated. We want that to be almost fully saturated. So we're going to leave that on there to sit. And I think me and the family are going to go and get a bite to eat, man. So there's a little crab most muscular for you. Front double bicep. Let's see. I'm trying to get back into it. Side chest. So if you guys want to know the workout routine, let me know. We'll do workout videos also. This channel's about the things that I love. I love working out. I love riding bikes. I love building axes. I love splitting wood. I love heating my house with wood. I love talking the Word of God. I love talking to people who need help. So later, brother. Hey, man, thanks for stopping in, dude. All right. Check you guys later. Hit the like button before you leave. Let me see if I can like it. Can I like my own live? Watch. Let's see and find out. Turns out you cannot like your own live. Thanks, East Coast, man. I'll check out your stuff too, man. If you've got anything posted, let me know. I'll come to your channel, subscribe, and like. I may already be subscribed. I've seen your name before, and I think it's by me searching things out. So I may already be subscribed to your channel. I'll have to check that out. But see you guys. Oh, so you double tap to like it. So in order to like these videos, you double tap them. It's weird. I had to learn that too. So you can either do that or you can go up. There's in the right hand side of your screen, there's a 3 dots. You click the 3 dots, and inside there is a like button. They make it about as hard as possible for you to like it. So that's nice. I'm going to turn it around. Let you see the axe. Thank you, East Coast. It popped up, man. So as you can see, I'm letting this soak in there. I want it. It'll swell up on the inside of the head, and then it'll get tighter and tighter. So are we tight underneath? Yes. We're tight on both sides. So we're tight, and are we straight? So if you look at the bit and it's dead on in front of the handle, you know you're straight. So we're straight. It goes all the way down. I just love Plumbs, man. They're awesome. My favorite axe brand. Very, very good steel. It's extremely hard. Holds up well to abuse. As long as you don't hit concrete, you're good to go. But all right, see you guys later.